Hello, I'm Jesse Alexander, and I'm going to be talking to you today about building inclusive futures for BIPOC and LGBTQIA learners in STEM education with amateur radio. Black folks are integral to STEM and STEM movements. First, there was the drum, the first means of wireless communication that crosses all cultures, backgrounds, races, etc. Gilbert Young was an early pioneer in radio technology when it was beginning. Indigenous warriors co-developed with the U.S. military an unbreakable communications framework lexicon based on their indigenous languages. Gladys West was on the team that invented GPS. Rufus Turner was a polymath with degrees in engineering and English, and he wrote reference books for other engineers. Jesse Russell was the led the development of the cellular network and Wi-Fi systems in Bell Labs. I worked for him on and off for 20 years in various capacities. James West co-invented the Electret microphone with a team at Bell Labs. No relation to, I believe, to Dr. Gladys West. And I volunteered with Ken Greenhouse, who is a silent key. We used to provide emergency communications in Prince George's County. And because he's a silent key, I'd like to dedicate this talk to him. How we made spaces in STEM back in the day. Well, there was a cycle. And the cycle often started with protests both internal to the company and external to the company. This is my personal story. Somewhere on social media, there's a picture of Black folks sitting around in a den or planning and starting the Association of Black Laboratory Employees. They were determined to make a safe place for Black folk at Bell Labs, and this understanding was based on on personal and collective histories of Black folk from slavery through the civil rights movement. As I said, there's internal and external pressure that led to openings within the company for diversity, which allowed us to create bridges and pipelines for bringing people into Bell Labs and also just establishing a safe place for those folks in Bell Labs. I was introduced to Bell Labs, for example, by professors who taught at Howard University, who were Bell Labs people, Bell Labs employees. And Bell Labs established programs such as the one-year on-campus program to bring people in, again, bridges and pipelines. And we also created organizations inside of the Bell Labs framework, such as ABLE, I referred to earlier, and CIMDIP, Collective Effort Management Development Program, to provide safe places for us and structures that protected us inside of Bell Labs. And this model is duplicated all over the place. There's a great article about it in occurring at IBM and other locations, other companies. And there's a great write-up about this history as a lesson plan of the Black scientific renaissance of the 70s and 90s, American scientists at Bell Laboratories. I want to emphasize that this is self-initiated strategic behavior, that people saw themselves as human beings and saw themselves as intelligent enough to do the necessary planning and organizing to make this happen. So let's fast forward to now. Now we have a similar situation when Black Lives Matter protests external to the company, which lead to openings in STEM and openings inside corporations, including my organization, the National Radio Astronomy Observatory. And this leads to creating bridges and pipelines. And there's some excellent programs that NRAO is involved in, including the ham radio program, which are attempts to pipeline and bring students in from college to have an experience at NRAO, and in my case with ham radio, uh, so that they can use those experiences and create safe spaces both in ham radio and also in the inside of the NRAO, uh, basically to bring folks in into the organizations. And again, this is just like before, self-initiated strategic behavior. Now, there's a unique, I think our project presents a unique opportunity for cross-generational work. On one side, we have an excellent study that was produced by the Encore organization, Cogeneration, which talks about where we have people complaining essentially that they would like, the people surveyed said they would like to find opportunities to work with people of other generations on one side. On the other side, we have the ham radio community, which is largely white men in their 60s and 70s. And there's a concern that there's an aging out of ham radio. And not only will that lead to uh, less hams, but it also leads to less emergency operators and also leads to the loss of public access to parts of the electromagnetic spectrum that ham radio operators are assigned. Now, there's an interesting, in a study that Encore produced, there's a very interesting description or a discussion, a finding where we have young folks, in particular Black and Brown folks of all ages, are particularly keen to work across generation. I see this as an opportunity that can bridge the gap between a declining or an aging out population in amateur radio and people of all generations in the survey who want to work across generations. The Ham Radio Project, I think, provides a unique opportunity for cross-generational work, and that's key to making this happen. So that's it. Thanks a lot for listening. Here's my contact information. Let's stay in touch. Take care.